All right, what's up, y'all? And for the third time in my career, I've gone out and purchased this Tamron 28 to 75. Yeah, you heard that right. 3 separate times I've bought, sold, bought, and resold, and repurchased this Tamron 28 to 75. And on this video, I'm gonna tell you why. So this is my first day since I went back and repurchased the 28 to 75, and I thought, you've had this damn thing 3 times. Why don't you give it some love and go out and make a video exclusively about it? So let's talk about the 5 reasons why, no matter what I do, no matter what I learn, I keep coming back to the Tamron 28 to 75. All right, reason number 1 is its size. When you think about the fact that this is a mid-zoom, going from 28 all the way to 75. This lens is this light, 540 grams. That is absolutely amazing. It makes me so confident to pick this thing up every single day and go outside and know that I can get almost anything that I need to get based on the way that I personally like to shoot. I had the Sigma 24 to 70. I had the Sony 24 to 70 version 2, and both of those are great lenses. I did a lot of good work with those lenses, but both of those I ended up never wanting to bring with me in run and gun scenarios, and I ended up never using them in paid work because I had primes that pretty much covered those same focal lengths. So that is a major selling point for the Tammy. You get that versatility, you get the run and gun ability, but you get it because you don't mind bringing it with you every single day. All right, so I switched the lens to the Tamron 28 to 75 just to get out in the real world and show you guys some examples. Though the widest point this lens goes to is 28, you can definitely still get outside and vlog with a 28. So if you have a lens where you know you can bring it out, get some vlogs in, but also get out there and get a 35 millimeter, a 50 millimeter, and of course a 75 millimeter, that is a huge level of versatility that cannot be matched unless you're willing to spend multi-thousands of more dollars. Reason number 2 is what I already alluded to, the price. Like I said, when I had that Sony 24 to 70 version 2, I thought I was all that. I loved the way that it looked on my camera, but I couldn't justify the work that I was doing with it. When I sold it, knowing I was able to not only leave with another prime, but also leave with this. When I sold that Sony, I left with a 20 millimeter 1.8, which is a great lens from Sony, and a Tamron 28 to 75. So I sold that one lens and left with 2 lenses that covered an even more vast level of range than that particular Sony for way less than the price of that Sony. And I did it in a way that they even had to give me a couple of dollars back. So I went in with 1 lens, sold it, came out with 2 lenses covering everything that I do, and still had some extra money in my pocket. And the third reason is its ability to match the Sony. That's right. Whether it's image quality, whether it's autofocus, whether it's its ability to get really close up on things. Like, it's almost a macro lens as well at the 28, at the wide. When you use this thing at the wide, you can get really close on things. And if you understand lenses, not a lot of lenses out there, you're able to get that close and get that level of detail. All right, so the next thing I want to show you guys is the macro capability of this lens. I'm going to go out and get extremely close to some things and show you its ability to still focus extremely close. So you saw that macro capability. If you're going out there with just 1 lens, like I said, you gotta mostly use that macro capability on the wide, so at 28 millimeters. But let's say you're shooting a wedding, you wanna get detailed pictures of the ring, you can get really close, you can get wide shots of the whole entire group at 28. I know 28 isn't 24, but that's as wide as we have here. But I could also get really detailed portrait shots from 50 to 75. That's absolutely huge. So when I knew I can shoot all of the same work, one of my clients, social media, Instagram, will never notice the difference at a fraction of the cost, but also with the same level of quality, the same image quality, the same autofocus capabilities. Like literally, maybe the Sony might focus a split second better, but unless you're shooting high level sports and you're getting paid by ESPN, you would never notice that difference. So literally, I have used both of those lenses, and I can legitimately tell you, truthfully, if you're out there shopping and you're contemplating which mid-level zoom to get, I could not notice the difference between Sony's top-of-the-line zoom and Tamron's 28 to 75. Show this lens's extreme versatility, but also high level image quality. I'm gonna switch it to 60 frames per second. I'm gonna go out, I'm in this little park right here. You can see my background, that's kind of dope right there. I'm gonna switch it to 60 frames per second. I'm gonna go out and shoot you guys a little cinematic B-roll to show you the image quality of this lens. Another reason is modern technology built into it. When you look at this, sure, we've got one focus hold button, which I love focus hold buttons, but you do have the ability to reprogram that and make it something else. Obviously, you have your zoom rocker, and when this thing zooms, it doesn't go very far. It stays right there, so I'm still able to use it lightly on certain things. But because of that USB port that it has, not only am I able to upgrade the firmware through direct connection to my computer, I can actually go into this software via connection to this USB-C, and I can change this, which is the focus ring. I have changed that to be an aperture ring. And when I got this, that was the one thing it didn't have. But knowing that I can go into the software and reprogram that to the aperture ring, that's amazing to me. Another awesome thing about this lens is when you're pairing it with a Sony camera, you have the ability to use clear image zoom. That means you can use this lens as a 28mm on the wide end and go all the way to 112mm, especially when you're using 4K video and no one's gonna notice a difference in quality. So that is a huge zoom range. 28 to 112 when you're using it with a Sony camera and you know what you're doing and you're using clear image zoom. So if you're in the market for a mid-level zoom that covers pretty much everything that you do, if those are the things that you do, I promise you, no BS to you, that Tamron 28 to 75 is the perfect one to get. Just literally put it on your camera and leave it there. Only time you want to change it for very unique scenarios. Outside of that, this is now going to live on this camera and live on this channel and make probably 90% of the content that we make. If you love that sort of content, like and subscribe. This is Michael Perryman. Till next time.